So we're on County Road 559 up to Medano Pass, and even before you get up to the pass, it's a little bit rocky, a little bit windy, and the trail starts even before. So here it's a little bit washed out, but nothing the GX can't handle. Hey everybody, it's Eric from Eric's Adventures, and today we are at Medano Pass. So here it is, going to Great Sand Dunes National Park. This trail is, I think, 12, 13 miles. So yeah, follow along and let's get it done. This is going to be a bit of a longer video, just driving through the entire Medano Pass trail so you could see how it is and all the obstacles and water crossings we encountered. So this is the start of the trail, and we'll get some video through the windshield and through the window. It's a little bit rough at times. The camera's not stabilized, but hopefully this gives you a good sense of what the trail is like. We went in towards the end of August, and it had not rained, so the trail is pretty dry. This was my first time out in Colorado with my GX and taking such a long trip from Chicago, so I didn't want to do anything too difficult, and still wanted to make it back in one piece, but still wanted to see some really cool places out in Colorado. I've got two other videos on my channel as well, going up Peak 10 at Breckenridge, and then another one doing American Gulch up to Georgia Pass. They're both moderate trails, and again, Medano Pass is another moderate trail as well. This one, we started at the northern end of the Great Sand Dunes National Park, and then this trail heads south into the park itself. You can also do the trail backwards from the park up north, but just the way we were driving from Colorado Springs, we came from the northern side. So the national park page actually has some really good info on the trail and its conditions, so if you're considering doing that, check it out for the and see if there's any closures or updates. Obviously, if it rains and there's a ton of stuff and additional obstacles, they will put that on the national park page. So if there's also a ton of rain in the few weeks before, some of the water crossings that we do are a lot deeper than what you see in my video. So yeah, I mean, just check out the park page and you'll see what the conditions are for the trail. My GX has a 3-inch lift and 32-inch tires, but I also did see some Tacomas that were pretty stock looking doing the trail. So as long as you got 4-wheel drive and good all-terrains, mud terrains, whatever, this trail shouldn't be too bad at all. So a little info about the Great Sand Dunes National Park. It is the tallest and widest sand dunes in North America, and how this happened was when the mountains formed north of the dunes, sediment and melting glaciers formed the lake, which was named Lake Alamosa after the largest town in the valley. And after a while, the water drained out through the Rio Grande. It's estimated the lake disappeared about 440,000 years ago. And so when the lake was empty, the lake bed had a lot of sediment in it, and so when the wind would blow towards the three passes in the mountain, so it's the Mosca Pass, Medano Pass, and Music Pass, the sand would start to accumulate in the valley just south of the mountains. And then when there's storms, the wind that blows back down the mountains through the valley, this is what forms the sand dunes and makes them grow. So the wind blows from south to north, pushing the sand up to the mountains, and the mountains basically act as a barrier. And then when there's storms, the winds blow from north to south through the passes and down the mountain. And basically, when it blows from both north and south, the dunes just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So the tallest dune is called the Star Dune. It's about 750 feet tall, which you can hike it if you want. It's definitely a tough hike, and in the summer, the sand gets hot, and bring some water. That's all I'll say. We hiked up some of the smaller dunes and we were exhausted by the time we got to the top. You can see here, this is one of the water crossings we did. Um, Took a little bit of a break to kind of figure out how deep it's going to be. But if you could see, when you get a lot of rain, this whole thing's going to be full. So this one wasn't too bad. I do have a snorkel on my GX just because I saw tons of posts about people hydrolocking their engine, even in kind of shallow water. So yeah, just decided to do a snorkel. Um, but yeah, back to the sand dunes. So you can you can hike up the sand dunes. They have sandboarding. You can do all sorts of stuff there. I saw people setting up like little picnics, camp, all that. Um, the dunes cover an area of about 30 square miles, and there's tons of stuff to do there. There's dispersed camping all along Medano Pass. You kind of saw earlier in the video, there's a Bronco there off to the side. You'll see later on in the video, there's people on both sides of the trail set up and for camping, and yeah, you can camp out there. When you get to the sand dunes, there's also camping there and an actual kind of campground. So if you don't want to stay on the pass with some more amenities and luxuries and running water and bathrooms, you could stay at one of the campgrounds near the pass. The campgrounds on Medano Pass are first come, first serve. So if you get there in time and there's an opening, you can set up camp. Also, if you do set up camp, check the national park site and some of the signs that tell you if you can have a fire pit. You don't want to cause a wildfire. It's always a bad thing. So, um, another thing is if you want to check out the dunes, the southern side has a lot more traffic, and that's where a lot of the people end up going first. So there's a huge parking lot. There's tons of cars, and there's like sandboard rentals and all sorts of other stuff. But there's also a lot of people. If you want to go to an area that's not as crowded, drive slightly up the trail. It goes from pavement to sand towards the southern entrance of Medano Pass. They have some smaller parking lots where you can park and walk into the sand dunes. So if you want to do something that's a little less crowded, that's definitely the place to go. Um, they also have tire filling stations near the sand dunes. I carry an air compressor in my GX, but if you need to air up or air down your tires to go through some of the sandy areas so you don't get stuck, don't be one of those people that goes there, doesn't air down, and you get stuck in the sand. And if you get stuck in the sand, air down, it'll help you get out. But yeah, there's tire filling stations. So overall, it was a great experience, and driving the pass was a ton of fun. You could see the weather. We had some great clear skies, no bad weather. The trail is 2-track. There's not really any. There's a couple like wider areas, so we had a couple instances where there was oncoming traffic, but we never had an issue where we couldn't pull off or they would back up or we would back just a little bit to get past each other. Everybody was friendly. There's a couple spots where it is a little tight. You might get some scratches on your car, but it's an off-roader. That's what happens. So yeah, I definitely had a really good time. I would go back to Medano Pass, so I'll be quiet now, enjoy the rest of the video, and hopefully this helps you plan a trip to Medano Pass in the future. Faster. Thanks for joining me, everybody. That was Medano Pass, and in this background. Look at that, Great Sand Dunes National Park. This place is so cool. We've got the mountains in the background. We've got, I think, the largest sand dunes in North America. It is huge. This place is gorgeous. We started hiking up, got like halfway there, and it was real tough, so we came back. Now we're gonna air up and start making our way back to Chicago. This is our last stop in Colorado. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you want to see more, subscribe to the channel, and see you next time.